welcome back. So in this video, what I'm actually going to show you guys is how to read prospects in under 60 seconds. That's the thing. It doesn't take too long, okay? A lot of you think you need 30 minutes to actually understand someone and ask all these wonderful, beautiful, open-ended questions because selling isn't telling, right? But actually, you can figure out how to communicate with the prospect in front of you. It only takes about 60 seconds. You knock that out. It's all through observation, right? The best closers aren't better talkers. Just really good at reading people. Before they ask the real question, they've already built a working psychological profile of who's in front of them. So these are the things I'm going to cover. I want you to watch. But look, these are the things I'm looking for. It's pace, it's energy, it's language, confidence, decision speed, emotional state, like their social awareness, the cognitive processing. You have to realize people don't buy differently because they have different objections. They buy differently because they think differently, right? Now, if you can identify how someone processes information within the first minute, then you immediately know how to present, how to ask questions, how fast they move, right? When to challenge them, and ultimately how to close them. So what I'm going to teach you in this video is exactly how the best sales professionals perform rapid behavioral analysis, right? So we're going to have some fun today. So write this down, part one. We're doing parts today, right? Write this down. And if you're not writing it down, make sure you're taking notes somewhere. You got to apply this to actually get better results. Hopefully that's why you're watching the video, is to improve, obviously. Your job isn't to sell. Understand that. Most of you start pitching, right? The best salespeople, we want to get in there and start downloading the data, right? Collecting the data so I know how to take them down, and take them down in a good way. Positively peer pressure them to change their life. That's what sales is about. If you know your service or product can help them, then you need to help them get across the finish line. So look, your first minute has one objective, right? Diagnose before you prescribe, just like a doctor. Look, doctors don't prescribe medicine before understanding symptoms, and neither should you. The first 60 seconds are your assessment phase, right? During that minute, you're answering 6 questions. Are they emotional or analytical? I got to figure that out. Write that down. Are they emotional or analytical? Fast or slow decision maker? Okay, I need to know. Confident or uncertain? Risk-seeking or risk-avoiding? Internally motivated or externally influenced? Buying certainty? Are they buying certainty in the deal? Okay, or are they buying possibility of using it, what the future holds? Those 6 answers determine everything that follows, all right? So let's drop down to part 2, the 5 things the best salespeople watch. Write that down. Well, obviously speech rate is one, okay? You need to listen carefully. Understand, fast speakers generally process information quicker. That's why they talk fast. And slow speakers usually process information deeply. That doesn't make either one smarter than the other. It changes how they make decisions. If someone answers immediately, okay, or interrupts naturally, moves from point to point, they probably want efficiency. So get to the point, okay? If someone pauses, reflects, they use longer explanations. Don't rush them. Give them room to think. One of the biggest mistakes that salespeople make is talking to everyone the same, right? It's forcing everyone into your communication style. You have to understand that people trust familiarity and mirroring processing speed, not personality, right? So that's what you're looking for, is behavioral patterns. All right, so let's go to word choice. That's the next thing. Write this down. Number 2 is word choice, okay? Language reveals a ton of things, okay? So listen for repeated patterns. If someone says, I feel, they're often filtering through emotion. So I feel this way, or I felt that way in the past. If they say, I think, they're processing logically. If they say, I've seen, they're relying on experience. If they say, I need proof, you're dealing with certainty seeking. Every repeated phrase tells you where decisions are made. Your job is to not change their language. Your job is to enter their language and speak to their tune. People trust people who sound and who think basically how they're operating. You just need to mirror that. It's called neuro-linguistic sequencing. So if you can do those things and not make everyone adjust to you, then you'll have better conversations, right? So let's drop down, and it's all about conversation quality. Develop certainty, which ends up closing the deal, actually. So let's go to question 3, which is question quality, okay? Question quality. Look, questions reveal sophistication. Beginners ask how much. You know what experts do? How does this actually work? Someone asking implementation questions is mentally buying. Someone asking only pricing questions may still be evaluating risk. The question itself matters less than the intention behind it. Always ask yourself, what problem is the question actually solving? All right, let's drop down to number 4 here, which is emotional temperature. Hey, how emotionally activated are they? High emotion, need reassurance. Low emotion, they need some stimulation. I need to get them stimulated, right? An excited entrepreneur, hey, this person needs structure, right? A cautious accountant probably needs certainty. Never increase emotion when someone needs stability. Never overload logic when someone needs confidence. Meet them where they are. Like, have common sense when you're talking to people. You get so darn flustered and excited in deals, you forget what you're doing, okay? Let's go to number 5, decision ownership. Decision ownership. Now, with decision ownership, this is one of the fastest tails. So listen for pronouns. Hey, I decided. I choose. I built. That's strong ownership, okay? We'll have to. My wife usually. My boss wants. They're signaling. You know what they're doing? They're signaling outside influence, okay? That doesn't mean they can't buy. It means your sales process must include those influences, and you just have to identify when decision makers, you have to identify decision makers long before objections appear. So do that in the beginning of the conversation. So Janet, what's your husband think about this? Or what's your business partner think about this? Now I know you said you're an employee. What's your boss think about this? Right? You can figure all that out here in rapport way before I get down here, or objections start to appear. So I just have to identify the decision maker before objections appear. Let's go down to part 3 now. We're done with that section. Part 3, the 4 buyer archetypes, okay? The 4 buyer archetypes. There are 4, right? There's more, obviously, but these are the main 4. Now, forget personality tests. I don't do all that hoopla stuff. I do common sense. I do real-world human behavior, okay? All that stuff's 100 years old. So we're doing 2026 things now. So look at it like this. There's one thing, I call it the commander. Okay, I call it the commander. They're fast, confident. They give short answers. They're goal driven. They don't waste time. They lead confidently. You need to challenge them intellectually. Okay? The analyzer. Detailed, curious, fact driven, needs evidence. Hey, slow down. Provide logic. Don't pressure. All right, the relationship builder. These people are generally warm, personal, conversational. Hey, trust first, build rapport, share stories, connect emotionally. Then we have the visionary. It's future focused, idea driven, big picture thinker, right? Talk outcomes, paint possibilities, avoid drowning them in details. Nobody fits perfectly in one category. I just want to state that too. Like, you're just looking for dominant tendencies while you're doing this, right? You have to be able to actively listen with one ear, but assess with one ear and your eyes in the other, and download and download that and collect that data. So part 4, the 3 questions that reveal everything. Hey, these questions aren't random either. These are diagnostic tools. Question 1, write this down. What made you decide to take this call today? This reveals urgency, right? Hey, the next one, what have you already tried? And that reveals experience. Question 3, if we solve this perfectly, what would your life or business actually look like? This reveals motivation. So within 60 seconds, you'll understand more than salespeople learn in a whole hour. My darn nose is itchy today. So let's go down to part 5. Hey, part 5, what never changes. So look, no matter the personality, everyone buys for 1 or 4 reasons. They want more money, more freedom, more status, and less pain. So your presentation has to change. Humans, okay, look, human nature isn't going to change. Humans aren't going to change. Don't confuse communication style with buying motivation. I can't stress that enough. I've given you all the clues, like to literally get on there and figure it out pretty quickly what's going on. So implement these and you will see a difference in your results. So part 6, the biggest mistake that salespeople make. Hey, you label people too quickly. You get on there and you think, oh, this person's analytical, she's emotional. Human beings are contextual, okay? An engineer may buy emotionally. A therapist may buy logically. Your profile is a hypothesis, not a conclusion. Great salespeople continuously update their assumptions while you're going through the conversation. You have to make adjustments to what they're saying and then go and flip that on and then adjust to them. So, you can't become attached to being right, if that makes any sense. You need to stay curious. So, actually, let me give you it's a good thing you stayed to the end of the video. Like, kudos to you. I'm going to give you some golden nuggets here. An advanced framework to build a live psychological model here While the prospect is talking, silently score them in your mind. Hey, communication speed, is it fast or deliberate? The primary driver is logic or emotion, right? Risk profile, opportunity seeking or security seeking, decision style, independent or collaborative, time horizon. Okay, immediate results or long-term investment. So by the end of the first minute, you should have a working model, not a perfect one, but one good enough to guide the rest of the conversation. As they reveal more information, you just need to keep refining it. Okay, this is exactly what elite negotiators and psychologists and interviewers do. The best salespeople don't convince people; they try to understand people, right? So sales isn't won by the person who talks the best. It's won by the person who understands the buyer the fastest, and then you can speak to them, not at them. So I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you check us out at Universal Accounting Center. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.